no big deal for the Buffalo Bills. They hit a walk-off field goal to win it 41-40 against the Baltimore Ravens. Welcome into Bills Postgame Live. He's Bills Hall of Famer Steve Tasker. I'm Maddy Glab. Steve, the Bills had the lead early in this one, but didn't really get back into the game until the fourth quarter. Ed Oliver forces a fumble. The Bills recover with just 3 minutes to go. The Bills then score to cut the Ravens lead to just 2, and then the Bills were able to force a 3-and-out on defense, and they get the ball with like a minute 30 left, and it goes their way. A couple of big chunk plays, which they didn't see pretty much all game, and Matt Prater hits a game-winning field goal. How did the Bills will themselves to victory?
Josh had 251 yards in the fourth quarter alone throwing and running. That that in and of itself gives a little bit of a recipe. The turnover is always a death knell for a team. And quite frankly, I thought the Ravens shut it down a little bit in their last series where the Bills had 3 timeouts and the Ravens they didn't give it. Derrick Henry was there. You should have given him 3 chances to make amends for the fumble. He would have really turned it into something. And then Josh Allen comes out dropping back, which I'll tell you this, early in the game, I was looking for this kind of offense early in the game from Josh Allen, drop back and pushing the ball down the field. Early in the game, it looked like they were playing small ball. When they started to air it out a little bit, got the chunk plays and set up Matt Prater for the field goal we're watching right now. It's unbelievable. Nobody in that stadium thought the Bills were going to come back and win that. They were down 15 with less than half the fourth quarter left. And they had not found an answer for the Ravens offense. A turnover. And the Ravens shut it down. Every comeback is like that, even the best comebacks of all. It takes 2 teams, and the Ravens were just as much a part of this as the Bills' good play.
The energy seemed like it was in Baltimore's court for most of the game, and then Ed Oliver forces a fumble, and here you go. Here comes the Bills, and do not count out MVP quarterback Josh Allen. 251 passing yards in the fourth quarter. That is nutso.
Yeah.
Allen was on the podium after this one. Let's hear what the QB had to say after this big victory.
How we doing?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Josh, describe your emotions into that. I don't think I've ever seen that reaction out of you after a game, especially that extended reaction.
Well, it took everybody there. Just proud of our team for staying in it. No one on the sideline blinked. Down 15 points, whatever we were, with 5-6 minutes left. Staying with it. Fans leaving, the stadium. You got to play this game for 60 minutes, and that's a really good outfit that we just played. And God willing, we take care of business how we're supposed to, and how we think we will. It's probably a team we'll see again. So, they're a greatly coached team. Hats off to them for having a really good game plan. But we stuck in there, and I'm just proud of our guys.
What happened in the first half? You guys have the back-to-back 3 now, so you're able to obviously rebound from that. Just what were you saying to guys on the sidelines to kind of get back in the flow?
Just stay with it. Trust what Joe's calling. That's all we did. Just try to take it one game at a time. No matter how far down we are, we don't look at the scoreboard. We just try to go out there and execute our play.
You just said how guys didn't play on the sideline. What was that like keeping everyone in the game despite being down when you were so late? What were the conversations like? What was it like on the sideline?
Yeah, basically saying we're still in this. It's a 2-score game. We score, defense get a stop. We get to go out there again, and hats off to our defense in that the last 3 or 4 drives, playing some big boy football. That's a really, really good offense. It's a really good team. So yeah.
For them to get the takeaway when it happened, what was it like the reaction on the sideline for you guys?
Yeah, it takes that sometimes to go your way. The 4th down tip touchdown to Keon. Again, sometimes the ball's got to bounce your way, and it bounced our way tonight.
What about Keon? Everybody's talking about him stepping up this year. What about what he did for you tonight?
He stepped up for us. He made some good plays. Proud of him.
Weird question, but what was your first conversation with Matt Prater?
Honestly, I met him in the locker room 2 days ago. He showed me a video of his son playing quarterback. That's how we met. And today, before the game, he comes up to me, in the locker room, before he even take the field, he just said, "Hey, I promise you I'm going to give you everything I got tonight." It's a guy that's been around the league for a long time, and I'm just, thankful he's here for us.
Josh, just get to talk about the down 40 to 25. What did Coach McDermott tell you guys at that moment?
I don't think he needed to say anything. Obviously, we want to go out there and execute each and every play. We knew that we were capable of doing more. And Joe Brady always talks about the reward for doing is the opportunity to do more, and that's what we had tonight, and we took advantage of it.
The play to Jackson Hall is just to get him involved in, such a big moment in the game. What did that mean?
Huge catch, big body. Made a heck of a catch to get us down there. It was awesome.
What did you see down the stretch where you were able to get Keon Coleman the ball? It seemed like in that second half, y'all really started establishing some sort of rhythm. What did you see there?
Yeah, I think the defense just understanding and playing the situation, kind of keeping everything in front of them. We knew that they weren't going to really bite on any double moves or, take any shots downfield. So we had to kind of be methodical, and I know being down 2 scores and taking, a slower pace doesn't seem like it's a great move, but that's what we have to do, and that's what we did, and worked out for us.
Can you tell me about some of the plays that Ed made tonight? Not just the forced fumble at the end, but the 6 tackles, 3 or 4.
He played unbelievable tonight. Again, when you got a quarterback that talented over there and a running back that talented over there, it takes everybody doing their job, and it takes a few guys doing more than their own job, and I think Ed did that. It did that tonight.
It seemed like as the game went on, you were getting better chemistry with Josh Palmer. Did that feel that way to you?
Absolutely. Josh is a vet. We're going to continue to grow. Proud of him for sticking in it and staying in the moment. He made some really good plays for us down the stretch.
All right, that was Bills quarterback Josh Allen, who completed 72% of his passes for 394 yards, finishes with a 112 passer rating. A pretty good day for the QB to start off the 2025 season. All right, we got Steve Tasker here, but I'd now like to welcome into the conversation former Bills safety George Wilson joining the show. Thanks for being on with us today, man.
Hey, thanks for having me back, Maddie.
I love it.
Great game to come back for.
Oh, man, exciting.
Bro.
You're in the stands for this game. You text us telling us you're going to walk over in the 4th quarter when things weren't looking good for Buffalo, but you end up staying because the Bills had the ball, they score, they're down by 8, and it looks like Buffalo has a chance. What did you see out of this team in the final few minutes of the game?
Resiliency, heart, passion. It's a 60-minute game. That's why you pay the money, you pay for these tickets. That's why these guys put in all that time and effort in the offseason for moments like tonight, and they showed it. That's heart. The game was not going our way most of the night, but down the stretch when it mattered the most, our guys stepped up and made the plays necessary to come away with the victory tonight.
I'll say this, and Josh alluded to it too. Some people, Maddy and I always leave in the 4th quarter where we're up big or down big. So
we got to prep.
So I'm going to give us that. But there's some people saying, there's just no way they can see it. And there's a reason for that. And this is coming across from the NFL. Teams in the NFL history who have scored 40-plus points in a game and rushed for more than 235 yards at this point in history are 277-0. Mm-hmm. Now they're 277-1. The Ravens tonight were the first team to score 40 points, rush for 235-plus yards, and lose.
That is wild.
First team in history, and that's how unlikely it was. That's why people are leaving. We've never seen anything like that before. Nobody has.
We were close all night, though. We just needed to
It was
make
a
that
wild
play
game
to get over the hump. Ed Oliver busts through the line of scrimmage, gets Henry to stop his feet, punches the ball out. We get the ball back. Josh Allen goes down, makes it a 1-score game.
You look at these, and we've seen it. Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. You gotta beat them.
Yeah,
you make a mistake like Derrick Henry turning that ball over. We've seen it in other times as well. These guys it's not over until it is over.
Yeah. And George, you're a former safety. You know the mindset that you have to have when you're playing against a team that has a Lamar Jackson and a Derrick Henry. A very tall task, and it didn't look great for much of the game. The Ravens were ripping off chunk play after chunk play. Derrick Henry had a 30-yard rushing touchdown and then a 42-yard rushing touchdown. How do you have to or how can you change your mindset to think, you know what, even though this has happened, we're going to correct things and get it in our order and go ahead and stop the Baltimore Ravens in the final couple minutes of the game and give the ball right back to your MVP quarterback?
It sounds cliche, but it's one play at a time. And no matter what happened on the previous play, you got to focus on that next play. And that's what our guys did. Like I said, there was not going our way most of the night. One play creates a domino effect. We get the turnover. Offense drives down. On the tip pass, Coleman catches the touchdown. One score game. We go out, get a stop, get the ball back, and that's all we ever asked for, Steve. Hey, just have a chance to win it in the end. We gave the ball back to our MVP, and he showed why he was that last season.
Yeah, there's a lot in that. Certainly, the Ravens are a good team. You knew you were going to get punched in the mouth, and they did it. It looked like the Bills were all bloodied up and they weren't coming back. But they hung in there. And you said it, they were resilient. They continued to play. They were going to finish the game strong, continue to play hard. That's what I remember about the greatest comeback game. Guys, let's just keep playing hard. Yeah. And Marv Levy, the Hall of Fame head coach, came in and said, guys, let that be a lesson. Sometimes when you play hard, you get lucky. The Bills got a little luck, and they continued to play hard, and then they made some plays at the end to win it. It's all of that stuff is in the ingredients of a game like this, and what a game it was.
Let's go back to the basics. Derrick Henry went off for 169 rushing yards today, averaged 9.4 yards per carry, had 2 rushing touchdowns. George, what is the correct recipe to stopping a running back like Derrick Henry? What do you have to do?
You got to stop his feet in the background. In the backfield. With a guy like him, when he gets his shoulders square, going forward, line of scrimmage, more times than not, he's going to fall forward. With a big back like Henry, you have to get him to stop and chatter his feet. That stops his momentum, and it allows the defense to be able to catch up to him before he gets his momentum going. We weren't able to do that early in the game, and really most of the game. But as the fourth quarter went on, we were able to get more penetration playing on their side of the line of scrimmage, and we were able to make those tackles and be able to stop the
And I'll
run
say
game.
this, to Derrick Henry's credit, we all know he's a huge guy. He's like 6'4", 250. But the thing, his speed is why he is a different cat.
Yes.
You saw him outrun the entire secondary a couple of times tonight. You've got to stop him before he turns it upfield. You really have to penetrate up front. They've got a great offensive line. It's not easy to do. They're a great football team. Don't kid yourself, man. They're going to be there again. Lamar is playing at a high level. Derrick Henry's going to continue to play at high level. Their defensive secondary is really good. And their defensive output is. They've got their total package.
They got a total package as a team.
They're going to land some blows in a fight like this. And the Bills just found a way to get that last play. And I was telling somebody before this game, you know that this is going to be like the games we've seen through this week and even the Thursday night, and all, it's going to come down to the wire, that last couple of series. Can you get a stop, or can you move the ball when you need to? Can you close out the game in the last series? There's a ton of really close games in the league. And it comes down to those last couple of possessions. You got to handle them right. You got to make the plays offensively or get a stop defensively, or you're going to lose.
That just showed a lot of mental toughness on our part, on the Bills' part. There was a lot of demoralizing and deflating plays. Those chunk plays in the run game by Henry, the 3rd and 10, when Lamar's almost sacked. We missed the sack. He scrambles for the first down. And it really, a lot of instances like that, it takes the breath, the life out of your team, and a lot of teams roll over. But we continue to play our game, one play at a time, and we're able to put ourselves back in the mix with a chance to win at the end, and we're able to come away with the victory.
Yeah.
Both offenses, both the Ravens and the Bills, high-powered offenses in 2024, both averaged more than 30 points per game. Here they are starting out the 2025 season, both scoring at least 40 points out of the gate. On defense, both teams look a little bit different this season, specifically the Buffalo Bills. You got a new defensive line, some new players in the mix there. You also have a younger safety stepping in as a starter in Cole Bishop. You had a rookie cornerback starting today in Dorian Strong, opposite of Christian Benford. What did you make of this new-looking defense in Week 1?
we definitely have some work to do. There were some receivers running free in the secondary. There were some blown coverages in a few instances, and that comes with youth and inexperience. But the good thing about it, we were able to balance that out with good sound play up front from the defensive line, getting pressure on the quarterback. Lamar really, other than those third down, late third and long conversion, we were able to keep them bottled up for most of the night. And that's what we're going to have more of, to be able to take some pressure off of those young guys in the secondary.
All right, Matt Prater is on the podium right now. Yes, the new kicker who signed here just last week made the game-winning field goal. Let's hear what Matt had to say on the podium after the win.
I mean, you signed, Friday, and you're kicking on Sunday Night Football and winning the game at the end. That's kind of a crazy start to your Bills tenure, huh?
Yeah, it was crazy. Took a red eye, came practiced, got to meet some of the guys. And honestly, I saw a really good practice, a really good team, and I was excited to be a part of it. And so saw practice, got a good night's sleep, kicked a little bit Friday, and then rolled into the game.
It seemed like you were perfectly comfortable in that. I mean, it was kind of a fire drill at the end, because that's the way you wanted to play it. But I mean, normally a kicker has been doing that with the team for a long time. You guys looked like it was flawless there.
Well, Reed and Brad do such a good job, and Coach kind of explained the situation, which I kind of knew from the years. But I just had all the confidence in the world, and I just have to go do my part and just try to kick it straight. It was the snap and holds were money all day. Protection was great, and so I just got to do my part and make the kicks.
Matt, you played for a long time in this league. Have you been a part of a game that crazy?
Yeah, we had some crazy years in Denver with Tebow back then. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right, you got me.
How was it, though, to be a part of this atmosphere here at this particular game winner?
I'm still on cloud nine. It was just such a fun experience and awesome just to be a part of it.
Josh Allen recalled the conversation you guys had earlier this week when you told him, I'm just going to go out there and give it everything I've got. Just, what can you remember about that conversation, just how you've been able to compartmentalize just this whole process?
Well, it's just something I wanted to tell him. I know we don't know each other that well yet, but I just want to let you know, I know I just got here, and it may not be perfect right now, but I'm going to do everything I can to try to be perfect to help this team win while I'm here.
You said you showed him a video of your son playing quarterback.
Yeah, my son plays quarterback. I actually am an assistant coach for his team back in Arizona, and that's actually what I was doing when I got the phone call, was writing practice out for the kids. And so I was talking to Brad Robbins, the punter. When he was at Michigan, I was playing in Detroit, so we used to work out together in the off season. So he knows my kids, and I randomly was showing videos of packs, and he's like, "You have to show that to Josh. That's incredible." So randomly just crossed paths with Josh in the locker room. I was like, "Hey, someone told me to show you this real quick," and that was it. But it was cool.
How'd the team do this week? The one you were coaching?
Oh, they have their first game is the 27th this month.
So you've got some time.
Yeah. I kind of passed off those duties.
I would say so.
So what time on Thursday did you actually get into Buffalo?
6:30 or 7 in the morning, then straight to physicals, then to the facility.
What have the last few months been like for you? Just, trying to rehab, get ready, be ready. Just what has that all been like?
Yeah, just working out, staying in shape as best I can. I was working out with Matt Hawk, who played here in Miami, and Adam, a snapper. So I was getting snap and holds at least instead of just kicking off the sticks. So that's as close as I could get to game reps with those guys. But working out, coaching the kids in football, and honestly just being full-time dad. Kids go to school, and then I'd be dropping them off in the morning. That's my favorite, is drop off. And then I would do pick up, and then their activities, they're in dance, gymnastics, football. So I just love being involved in all that stuff.
When you mentioned that you knew Brad Robbins before, did you know Reed at all?
I had met Reed a few times just from over the years playing against him, and obviously you know how good of a snapper he is to be in the same place 10 plus years now. So I was excited to work with him and Brad as well.
What high school were you coaching in?
It wasn't a high school. It's the Youth Santan Football League, and I was coaching 9 to 11-year-olds.
What did you notice about the team's resolve? I mean, obviously you just got here, but just what do you notice how everybody just kind of collectively handled those last 5 minutes?
Well, the biggest thing I noticed when we got down early, 2 scores, no one blinked at all, or skipped a beat. They just kept going, and other places in the past it didn't seem like that. They kind of crumble almost or just be defeated. And they just kept fighting. And then at the end, when we got the ball back with the 30 seconds, I knew we were going to get a shot. And then when they got it super close, I was like, oh, it's even better. So.
Where do you think you could have hit it from?
I don't know. Right there was perfect.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Matt. Welcome to the Buffalo.
That was new Bills kicker Matt Prater, who signed with Buffalo on Thursday afternoon. Didn't have a lot of time to get accustomed to things. And you may think, okay, a kicker is a kicker. They can practice anywhere at any time. They don't need much team chemistry or much time to get accustomed to their team because they're on the field, not by themselves, but they're on the field doing their own thing. Steve, how tough is it, though, to have 3 days to get ready and then you go 3 for 3 and kick a game winner?
Well, you tip your hat to the guy. That's tough. Because these guys, how hard these guys have to work. He's been through it. He's 41. He's been through all this before with teams that he's been on from front to back all the way through the season. So he knows the kind of work that the team puts in, the offense, the defense, the special teams guys, and to have him kind of parachute in for a couple of days to finish off a game like this, you really feel like you got to do it. I mean, that is the reason you were signed and not one of the other 5 gazillion kickers that are out on the street. You've got a reputation for it. You've got a lot of experience about it, and you know how to handle that moment. And you know this, George. The best thing about a veteran pro athlete is like you get this spot where you can just like, I got this. Let's go.
Yeah, I trust you.
Yeah,
you have 3
let's
days.
Go.
No big deal.
It's no coincidence that they signed a guy that's like as old as me, like almost as old as me in football terms, to do this. They needed somebody who was going to, I got this. And Prater is obviously the guy for it.
Flipping to offense.
He's not as old as me. I'm just saying, I was trying to make a point.
In his 19th NFL season, you don't see that all the time in the league. I mean, that's getting up there in NFL years.
Yeah, it's not going to be too much for him. That's why you signed that guy.
And when he was asked, hey, have you been in crazy games like this? He said, yes, I have. I mean,
yeah.
you're in the league
With
for
Tebow.
19 years.
I was at that Tebow game. So, yeah, brilliant move by Brandon Beane. Obviously, it worked out, and he could have signed, a guy who had never kicked before to do it. But he signed this guy, and some of the qualifications, it's obvious they needed a guy who'd been in a moment, or 5, or 20 moments like this. Matt Prater has way more 50-yard plus field goals in his career than anybody in NFL history. He's the perfect guy for that spot, and Brandon Beane found him.
Flipping to offense, Buffalo got on the scoreboard early with a 7-0 lead. But after that, the rhythm wasn't there. It looked like it was hard for the Bills to get chunk plays, hard for them to move the ball. The Ravens have such a great secondary made up of all first-rounders. They were swarming to the football. In the fourth quarter, what changed for Buffalo's offense to allow them to hit on those chunk plays?
Yeah, I think early on, coming out the first quarter, a lot of those plays are scripted. You've done all your scheme, your scouting, and so you have a pretty good feel of how they're going to open the game. But everybody goes back to the sideline, make their sideline adjustments, and Baltimore came back. We would win a lot of times on first down, but Baltimore would win on second down, putting us behind the chains, making those third down situations longer than they initially would be based on what our first down outcomes were. We get into the fourth quarter. I think Baltimore got a little soft in their coverage calls, being able to try to protect the big play, knowing what the game's on the line, 2-score game. And Josh took advantage of those opportunities with those underneath throws. He dumped it off to Cook. Cook ran, about 40, 50 yards, 50-plus yards to get us down inside the 5-yard line to set up that score, to cut it to a 1-score lead. And I think it's just the thing. We kept getting more momentum, more confidence. And then when you give a team like an offense like ours to that confidence to be able to go down, drive the ball down the field consistently, it just shows that we had kind of gotten our own way throughout the course of that game. But once we were able to put our minds to it and make those plays down the stretch, we gained more and more confidence with each drive and each and every opportunity that we got.
Yeah, it was it's been a little bit of the modus operandi of this coaching staff. They get better as the game goes on. They make better calls, and I think the offense got a lot more aggressive as this game wore on. They like you said, the opening script was money. They got through it. They got in, scored the touchdown to begin the game with their opening drive. And then they kind of went in and kind of played some small ball. And then in the second half, they came out as they were down and they started to open it up a little bit. You know, you got Josh, and he showed up. He showed why they can lean on him a little more than they were willing to early in this game. And the Ravens put him in that position finally. And they said, listen, we got no choice now. Let's go. And Josh came through for him, no question. So did everybody else.
They finished with 497 yards of offense compared to Baltimore's 432. So the yards came when they needed it at the end of the game. George, we want to thank you for coming on to hang out with us for a little bit, helping us break down this epic Week 1 win against the Baltimore Ravens. And awesome to get a defensive perspective on this show. So thanks.
Thank you for having me. Always a great time with you all.
All right, we are now pivoting to Sean McDermott's press conference. He's on the podium answering questions right now.
Well, great win. They're hard to come by. And that locker room, man, they kept playing, those guys, and the coaches kept coaching. Wasn't pretty at times, and, so we'll learn. Got a lot to learn from this game, and it's always good that you can learn after a win than after a loss. Whenever you're trying to start a season as a coach, it's important that you get that you can win a close one, and because it helps the buy-in, and got a lot of new faces in that locker room, and guys got a chance tonight to experience coming together as a team for the first time, and experience Buffalo, city of winners, right? So great win for our team, great win for our community, and Bills Mafia overall. So couldn't be prouder. Happy for Matt. Just joining us here and being able to do that. There's a lot that went into it before that, but just awesome to execute at that level with the game on the line.
We just talked to Matt about his week. What did you see out of him? I know you told us Friday that was the first day you were really seeing him kick. Just what was it like seeing him navigate the last, 72 hours or whatever it is? Yeah,
true. I mean, right away you could just tell that he's been in the league a long time. He's a true pro. Just honestly, watching him Friday, you guys were there for part of it, but we were in red zone, and then I'd turn around and watch Matt kick, because that was his first time really kicking for us. So we could get a feel for, what his distance is. And then we stayed after a little bit to watch him again, and just again, trying to build familiarity with our kicker, right? So it was a little bit windier then than it was tonight, so that was a little bit of a different environment, I'd call it. But Matt's a true pro. I think he may own the record. I'm not sure of fourth quarter walk-off kicks to win a game. So don't quote me on that, but you may want to do some research. But I'm very confident in him when he went out there. I think just handling that situation overall. You guys are at practice. You see us handle some of those or rehearse some of those situations where we have to get the offense off and the field goal team on. I thought the coaches and the players, led by Josh out there, were very calm in handling that situation.
Sean, I know over there on the sidelines thinking the game's over at any point until it's 0-0-0. But does this one maybe you're down 18 points with 4 minutes to go? Does that fall in the improbable category at least?
God is good.
Especially with that opponent, right?
Yeah, glory to God, man. Glory to God. That's who deserves the credit first and foremost. Baltimore's got a great team, and they're very well coached. We were fortunate to win it tonight. Maybe we'll see them again at some point. We have the utmost respect for them, their coaches, players, and their organization. So overall, again, just you learn from these. Again, it's good to get the win and be able to learn from it. A lot to clean up in all three phases. So we go back to work in a few hours here and work on getting that cleaned up.
John, going off of Josh, in terms of in that fourth quarter especially, almost zero room for error. What did you see for him as he kind of orchestrated that comeback?
Extremely comfortable. And again, you guys watch us practice. We start every practice, at least 2 of the 3 practices that we get during the week, with 2 minutes. And he's extremely comfortable in those situations, and the result's the result. I think too, Josh, but also the rest of the guys around him are extremely comfortable in that situation. So I think when you practice it over and over and over again, you try and hit as many of those situations, different time on the clock, different amount of timeouts to put our guys at practice under some stress. They don't like it sometimes. They get a little bit mad at me, but it's for a good reason, so I'll take that.
What about the way he operates, not necessarily on the field, but on the sideline during those moments?
How Josh operates? On the sideline?
Yeah, on the sideline.
Before he goes out there?
He never seems to be this or this. He just kind of seems to be right in the middle.
Yeah. I don't know what music he listens to. That could play a part in it, I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear what's on his, headphones or whatever they call them these days, AirPods. I have to ask my kids what they call those these days. Sony Walkman, No, Josh is he's always been like that, though. He wants the ball in key moments of the game. That's what the great ones, that's their mindset. That's what they want. That's what they do. And he's never out of it in his mind. And, it was 4th and 15 or 16. And I'm actually trying to think, I'm going through it. I'm like, should I give him a shot right here? But I felt like there was still enough game left, and defense stepped up, made 3 big stops, 1 takeaway down the stretch, and next we're right there at the doorstep. And great throw to I think it was Joshua Palmer on the outside breaker that got us in range. We felt like we had to get inside or at least into the 45 window for Matt, and we got actually obviously a little bit closer there. So great play calling by Joe. And Bobby down the stretch there as well, and being able to come in and Coach Tabes and execute that extremely well. He's a veteran special teams coach, and led by Reed and Brad with the hold there in the operation. So, it takes kind of communication through that sequence of. I think it was Keon that had the catch. We had the first down. They have 3 timeouts still, and we go bang, 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 and we're just trying to communicate. The headsets. In those situations are not as easy as you'd think. We're trying to communicate what we want to do, how much time will be left if they take all 3, and we run it 3 times like we did basically, and then what it's going to entail for us to actually kick it with 4 or 3 seconds left. So a lot of mental gymnastics. A similar situation happened earlier in a game this week before half, actually, on a quick switch out like that. Ours was not as quick, but was for a game winner with no timeouts there, certainly. So well executed.
Sean, Palmer and Coleman, the first 3 quarters, maybe a little bit slower, but both of those guys stepped up in the fourth quarter and made big plays for you. What did you see from both of them?
Yeah, great to see. Keon, having the year, the offseason that he's had, and the camp. You guys have been out of practice again, and you've watched him develop. You've watched him grow. You've watched his approach, his maturity, right, this year, and the way he's developed. So credit to him, and the night that he had was big for us. And then Joshua Palmer, I call him Joshua to separate Josh and Joshua, but Joshua being new to us and new to our environment. He's really done a great job of, being him and adding his kind of spark to our offense, to our building, and the way he handles himself, again, as a professional.
How does your view of the defense look? You won the game. That's different, but defense in general, 3 points, how do you what's just your assessment?
It's not. It wasn't even close to what I would expect us to be able to get to. We've got some young guys out there, and those guys, they want some of those plays back as well. And but just fundamentally executing what we do, fundamentally being in your gap, fundamentally, and that's not just up front; it's the whole defense, and then fundamentally tackling better. That's where it starts. I thought they did a better job of just calming down late in the game. Even really, I think we got them into a 3rd down and long, maybe the first 3rd down after half, and then we didn't execute well enough in that situation. So just we can be better. But I really do appreciate how they stuck together. And that's true of this whole team, right? So it wasn't going well. This is a really good team, really good opponent. We knew they were going to make some plays. And so you just got to stay with it. And it's the NFL. It's kind of life in the NFL, you know. So, you better believe we're gonna grind this week and put in the hours to figure out how we need to improve and get things. You know, the goal is to improve each week. And so, but proud of the way the guys persevered.
You don't have forced fumble on your card, but what's your thought? You know you have to have that.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah, well, you punch at the ball. I mean, that's kind of 4-minute defense. Not that it was. I believe it was under 4 minutes, or maybe that one wasn't. But the drive before where we got the fumble, I think, was just outside of that. And you know you have to play them what we call tight. You know you have to be ready to challenge them. I thought Bobby's play calling down the stretch was really on point, and the players executed. They were in their gaps. They played with violent hands, and I believe it was Ed that punched it out. And then we were swarming to the ball. So it's playing the defense we would have loved to have played early in the game, quite honestly. So, but I appreciate the way that the defensive staff adjusted and the players adjusted as well. So if they don't do what they did, we probably don't win the game. So, you know, you try and take the good, but also put the work in on the bad. And you know, credit the guys. They played a complimentary fashion down the stretch. You know, so it's good to see.
Sean, you mentioned Ed right there, not just the forced fumble, but he had a sack, he had a couple of tackles for loss. Just what did you make of his overall performance over the course of the game?
Yeah, he played. He really did. He played big time and played big for us. And the sack and that play, and I mean he's had a great start to the season. But even before that. Came in very focused in training camp. Again, fun to watch players develop, mature, grow, and you know he's been great for us day in and day out.
Sean, been a lot of games played in that stadium. This is the final, season opener. Any thought of kind of like the magic surrounding?
Yeah. I mean, listen. This one will be one of those stories that are told for a long time, right? Growing up, me watching the Bills from Pennsylvania and watching that playoff game. When you hear stories of people were trying to climb the fences to get back in, and then they're saying, no, we actually opened gates, and so maybe some of that was happening tonight. You never know, but I'm sure people are going to wake up some Buffalonians maybe, and maybe people just around the country and be like, well, wait, that happened, right? So I think people talk about it for a long time. We will live it tonight, but we have to move on. So.
Sean, Sal asked you about it a little bit ago. You got to coach until the end, right?
Yeah.
You're always trying to figure something out. Did you have a moment when you knew? Like you felt confident, we're going to get this?
I think when our defense got the takeaway. I think that was a big momentum shift. Yeah, big momentum shift. And then when we got the ball, when we made that third down stop before they punted, I mean, that was a big stop right there. If they convert, that game's over. So I thought Bobby made a great call. Players executed, and that's a big call right there. Easier said than done. And we got the ball back and plenty of time left, no timeouts. We're good, so.
It's tricky. Were you at all surprised that they didn't go for it? It was 4th and 3.
I know,
They get it.
Yeah, listen, it's resulting, right? I know why Coach did what he did, and I respect him. Like the day is long here. He's a great coach, and, you don't make it, you hand us the ball, and basically almost in field goal range. So, he's a great coach, and you never know until you're in that situation what you'd really do. So
when you kicked that last extra point, why did you do that instead of go for 2?
Yeah, wanted to make them play offense. So earlier in the game we went for 2. Earlier in the game when we had the penalty, we got the ball on the 1. We went for 2, didn't convert. I think we were down 15. Prior to, went for 2, knowing we're going to have to go for 2 at some point. Didn't get it again, so I just felt like our offense was tired. I felt like I wanted to make them play offense. Didn't want to put the game on that next play right there. and end up working out, really. So they had to play offense, and we got the ball back. So.
Sean, so you can enjoy this now and then go tomorrow. How do you make sure you do that? How do you make sure that the guys get right back to what the next task at hand is?
Yeah, I mean, this is, as you guys know, it's a week-to-week league, and this is, again, where these new players, young players, how we handle success is important, right? And the next opponent is home resting, right now. So, we're up late at night, and we got to start by getting our rest and handling wins and success the right way, and making sure that we have truth-filled conversations, that it wasn't all the way it needed to be up to our standards. So that's the journey of a season. That's the journey of trying to, move a team step by step in the right direction, and we have to embrace that growth mindset as we move forward here. Good. Thank you, guys.
According to ESPN Analytics, the Bills had less than a % chance to win the game with just under 5 to play. Well, Josh Allen orchestrates a 9-play, 66-yard drive with less than a minute and a half to go to give the Bills the victory. His 251 passing yards in the fourth quarter are the most by Allen in any quarter in his career. What continues to impress you about the way he plays the game?
I think it's his ability to do it when it matters most. Certainly, we saw him struggle. They went down for the opening drive, touchdown, and then they were 3 and out in 2 possessions right in a row. Then they got a first down, and they punted again. They just struggled. And then when things got a little bit dire, he raised his level of play. And I think the thing about him, and I don't know if you can quantify it or if this is just me and my opinion, what I see, when Josh elevates his play, and it's like most quarterbacks, but Josh, when he elevates, so does everybody around him. And I think most quarterbacks you can say that about, but Josh really seems to spread it around to everybody. We've seen great players like Mahomes and Kelsey. You've seen Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes. But Josh seems to play no favorites. He spreads it around. Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir.
Jackson Hawes
at the end of the game. James Cook. It seems like everybody has a chance to contribute. Josh really depends on all of his teammates around him. His offensive line plays better, the whole thing. He really is one of those, he's a special athlete that elevates not only himself, but the guys around him, and that's a special trait.
Just one game into the season, but Allen is also already breaking records, passing Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas for most rushing touchdowns in franchise history. So congrats, Josh Allen, on doing so to start the 2025 season. You spoke about all those players that Josh Allen likes to divvy it up to, spread the wealth to. Keon Coleman is a receiver in his second season who made a big splash onto the scene in tonight's game. He catches a touchdown off of a deflected pass to cut Baltimore's lead to 8. And then on the final drive of the game, Keon Coleman has a big chunk play, one of the 3 first downs that gave Buffalo a chance to kick a field goal and win it. How did he prove you can trust me out there?
He really did. He stayed alive, and he had some tough spots where he went out of bounds in the back of the end zone on the 2-point conversion. Josh tried to hit him in the corner on another 2-point conversion. I'll say this, he has played so well during training camp at this early part, plus what he did last year. He didn't just parachute in this year. He's been working extremely hard in the offseason. He has earned it. Josh was looking for him in those spots. Those 2-point conversions were to him. And then at the end, when he got tripped up before going in for the touchdown, you almost think, wow, it's a good thing he didn't score there, because they would have had 42 seconds and 3 timeouts to come back and kick a field goal to win it for themselves. So actually, him getting tackled on that slant route was probably a game-winning play for the Bills, not the Ravens. So I think when the chips are down like they were tonight so late in the game, and when Josh really elevated his play, look for the guys he really needed. And it was Josh Palmer, and it was Keon Coleman, and James Cook. those were guys we had seen during training camp and in the preseason, when in the practices mostly because they didn't play, really be consistently productive in every practice. And it's no secret either that Keon's really upped his game this year, and his work ethic, the kind of guy he is, his persona. He's a much more serious dude than he was a year ago as a rookie.
Defensive tackle Ed Oliver, a big momentum shifting play, forcing a fumble. Terrell Bernard recovers it, and that's when Buffalo kind of took off in the fourth quarter. Oliver also had a sack on the night as well. Joey Bosa, a couple big plays from him. It was great to see some of those defensive linemen get involved in this game. While it might not have been consistent throughout the game, there were big plays that needed to happen, and Ed Oliver was there to say, hey, I'm going to give it back to the offense, and let's go.
Yeah, there were the highest of highs defensively in this game, but there was also the lowest of lows, and they were multiples of both. You know, the Derrick Henry snapping off big long runs were the lows. Letting Lamar Jackson, after you push him back 15 yards trying to get a sack, he turns around and turns it in a 19-yard game. The guy ran 400 yards on that play. I'm exaggerating. But he ran all over the field to get a first down after you should have had him sacked. Then you have Ed Oliver stuffing Derrick Henry in the backfield. You have him forcing the fumble. You have him getting a sack as well early in the game on Lamar. So you had the highest of highs as well and the lowest of lows. You got to cut off the troughs of the roller coaster and just stick with the highs. They've got to raise the floor of their play here as a defense as they move forward into the season.
Down by 15 in the fourth quarter. It wasn't too much for Buffalo because they finished week 1 with a win. What a way to start off the final season in the current Highmark Stadium. They continue their home win streak as well. Now 12 straight regular season games. They won a perfect 8-0 last season at home, continuing that trend to start the 2025 season. You gotta love to see it.
Yeah, you do. It was great. Absolutely, the Ravens should probably feel exactly like they felt after the playoff game in January. That's like they just dropped it, and the Bills stole it from them. Good teams are able to do that. The Bills have had playoff games stolen from them in the same fashion. If you get good at it, it becomes commonplace. Tonight was the last home opener of the old Highmark Stadium. By the way, the legend of the game, Andre Reed, my pal, killed it. He was great.
Great job.
I was teasing him beforehand. I said, just say what you're supposed to say, man. He did great. He commemorated the last home opener, and what a game we got. The fans loved it. They saw 2 fantastic football teams play tonight.
Yeah.
Don't take anything away from the Baltimore Ravens. They're a good football team. They're a great organization. I've told a couple of Ravens people, we'll see them again. I mean, it seems inevitable.
The farewell season is off to a perfect start. Josh Allen reminding us, never count the Buffalo Bills out, because with the ball in Josh Allen's hand, anything is truly possible. He finishes with almost 400 passing yards, 4 total touchdowns to start the 2025 season. We want to thank you for tuning in to Bills Postgame Live. For Steve Tasker, I'm Maddy Glab. We'll see you all next week.